About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First,
hands on the rower till you meet the designated distance.
second,
That you keep your feet together.
and third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
William Leahy, North America West.
Yo, well, we got one. First invalid video of the year. At this point, you already know who it is. It's Will Leahy IV. At this point, this individual is currently sitting number 4 in the overall worldwide quarterfinals competition. 22 years old, 195 pounds, 71 inches tall. Last year, I remember watching this dude at the semifinals and thinking, damn, he's fit. And there's no hiding that he's fit. Even as we're going to watch what we're about to watch, you can't deny that. That doesn't mean he's smart. Now, when they released this workout, everybody was all cut up on the V sit-ups. This is a stupid movement. How are they going to enforce those standards? Well, number one, unlike what Bella Swan said, we assume that they're going to enforce the standards, which we have no reason to believe at this point that they're actually gonna do. And this is gonna be one of those case studies. You're gonna see it laid out for you exactly what's going on right here. You're gonna know that a majority of the repetitions don't count. And we're gonna see what they do with this, very much in comparison to how I did that Danny Spiegel video last year. Oh hey, a majority of the reps here don't count, you're just gonna give the same major penalty that you gave to everybody else? I don't see how that's fair. And then we'll know that she carried on in her merry way at the CrossFit Games. She lifted that really heavy sandbag. It was super cool. CrossFit got all of their pictures and content from Danny Spiegel, but in all reality, they should have invalidated that score because it would have sent a message to the entire world that you gotta keep your ducks in a row. Which brings me back to William Leahy IV, which, by the way, I've always been a big fan of just his name in particular, and it was pretty cool to see where his name's at on the leaderboard. And while I do think he's fit as hell, I'm gonna roll this video and we're just gonna chat through exactly what's wrong with it and why it should be invalidated. Let's go.
William Leahy, North America West.
Okay, we got concept 2 rower. Can you turn the rower on?
Listen to that judge's voice, that's important.
Okay. And then we've got GHD here.
Got a GHD, got a rower, cool. And then they show the entire floor, and I'm gonna cut through a couple of things because we're only gonna watch the important parts. That's also important. You hear the judge say, you can keep your feet in, but you can't touch the handle. It's like, okay, cool, we're off to a great start. Everyone's playing by the same rules. The playing field is level.
20 seconds. Yeah, I got you.
She says it again, don't touch the handles. Okay, before the timer starts, we're not gonna touch the handles. Did you hear that? Guy in the background says 50 more. Huh. Why would anyone say, wait, go? I'm gonna play that again. And it becomes just about as obvious, as clear as day as you can freaking see it. Wait, go. And trust me, I'll zoom in on this. You're not gonna be able to see the rowing monitor. Nobody reviewing this is going to be able to see the rowing monitor, but as clear as day, you hear that guy say, you got 50 meters left. You see these couple quick pulls, and if you've ever played that rolling game, it's...
Let me tell you a little story about that rower. I've only hit 100 4 times.
The object is to get as close to 100 meters as you can, but you want to land right on 100 meters, and that's considered a strike. Strong, too strong, too strong. Ambitious. Oh! Poop!
You stop pulling on the rower at about 78 or 80. Go, it's a fun game. There's a video. I'll put it up here. But with that, Will Leahy gets onto the GHD before the rower hits the designated distance that you need to get before you freaking move on. In my head, you think, what the hell? Like, this has been something that's been around forever. And to be honest, when I first saw this and heard about this, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I go, all right, I'm a dinosaur. I haven't really looked at the rules in 2 years in relation to what you got to do. And maybe, just maybe, like the heels on the wall thing, there's some sort of a loophole. And this is the new era of CrossFitter. And the new era of CrossFitter found a loophole where we're going to get out of the rower, let that thing ghost ride on up to the distance, and maybe I'm the one who's wrong here. You go check the rule book, you see that it still says what it's always said, which is that your hands got to remain on the handles until you hit the designated distance, 1,000 meters. You hear the guy in the background say 50 meters left. You hear the judge standing right there staring at the monitor going, wait, 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 okay. And as soon as she says okay, he takes off like a bat out of hell. And then if you ask me, it looks like his hands are a little bit wide on these GHD sit-ups, but that's not what we're talking about here. And Andrew, is that enough to invalidate the video? Well, you'd think so, but no. I got more. Let's look. As I said, all these GHD setups, it just looks like his hands are a little bit wide, and I'm pausing it again because you don't really know what this is doing to the score, but you do know that it's completely wrong what he had done right there. You're not allowed to do that. There are people all over the world doing it the right way, and let's say you got an extra 2 GHD sit-ups out of that. That's, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds. And when the score is in the tens of meters at the end of the workout, it's gonna make a difference. Now, we're back on the rower. The dude keeps on dumping the rowing handle, and right in the equipment list, it says that in the final sentence, unless otherwise stated, athletes may not receive assistance with their equipment during the test. Now, when you go to the rowing section in the workout description, it says that you may receive assistance resetting the rower. And sure, I guess that falls under that camp. And all of a sudden, you getting out on this one. You can dump the rowing handle and you can say that under the bracket that is receive assistance resetting the rower, the handle accounts too. But I think that what they were going for was resetting the monitor, not the rowing handle. Especially because that's written right under the descriptions about the monitor in particular. But let's get to the good part. Here we go.
Let's go, Bill. Nice. Let's go, Bill. Let's go. Looking good.
There you go. I played a couple for you, and I'm going to play the rest, and I don't know when I'm going to turn this on and let you just watch it. But his feet aren't together on a single repetition, and it's very clear. And I mean, if I ever did a V sit-up, I would think, I'm going to try to make this look as pretty as possible for Adrian Bosman. Now, what does that look like? Well, not that, because his feet aren't together, his knees are bent. I mean, by all standards considered, he's doing it in relation to keeping his toes above his knees, and that's fair. But it says so that right here that the feet have to be together at the top of the repetition. So I guess they can be apart, but they got to be together as your hands touch, and they should just remain together during the entirety. They should put like a freaking belt around your ankles as you get off the rower, and then you got to take the belt off your ankles just to ensure that your feet are together while you're doing the V sit-up. So while as I'm making this, I haven't counted exactly how many repetitions. It's a dickload of repetitions here are no reps, the majority of them. And then also, when you slow this thing down, which I know the CrossFit Games team isn't going to do, but on the ground it also says that they got to be together. So they got to be together on the ground, they got to be together at the top. It'd just be easy to keep them together the entire time, but you can very clearly see that his feet aren't together ever. And at which rate, every single one of these V sit-ups does not count. We all knew that this was going to be something that was just diced up.
Good. All right. Get on it, Bill. Get on it. Let's go. Come on.
At the completion of Will Leahy's third row, you see the judge do the same thing. He's a little bit more tired. He doesn't have that pep in his step that he did in the first round, so it's not as obvious as go, but you can still see the judge watching the rower, and then giving the cue to go, and then he starts on the GHD sit-ups. It's at this point in the workout where you can kind of realize that when you get on and off of the rower the number of times that you do, which is 5 in Will Leahy's case, that if you pick up, I don't know, 2 to 3 seconds every single time over the course of the workout, that ends up being freaking 12 to 15 seconds, and that could be the difference between, I was able to do freaking 25 V sit-ups in that amount of time, basically. V sit-ups. And also, the dude takes clear advantage over the rule book here, saying that you can have assistance resetting the rower to where he even gets out a freaking towel and wipes it down for him. He goes, all right, this is going to make the biggest difference in the world in this score. Not only are we trying to shave off fractions of a second by ghost riding the rower, but we're going to clean off the handles for all the chalk and sweat that you've got in your hands so that you really grip onto the freaking rowing handle. Let's watch some no reps on the V sit-up. Feet are apart the entire time. Before I get going on that, please don't forget that when you look at the movement standards, we've got Ellie Scudds here touching her toes. We got Will Leahy clearly keeping his feet apart, but he's also reaching for like the tongue of the shoe, which is not at all resemblant of the picture. And why couldn't CrossFit have just said touch your toes with your feet together? If your feet come together at all during the repetition, then it doesn't count. 100%. He's doing it to the standard where he's touching his feet. They aren't together, which makes the whole thing not count, but he's touching his feet, but she's touching her toes. And this is another spot where CrossFit just didn't think of what it was going to do to the freaking world when half the people are now touching their toes. Why? Well, the picture shows touching her toes. Oh, I didn't even see the fact that you could touch your feet. What is a foot? Where does the ankle not become a foot? Does the ankle bone count as a foot? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. It says also here, and I don't know how many things I'm gonna be able to throw on top of this workout to invalidate it without them actually invalidating it. It says that it's gotta be filmed from profile. This is like kind of profile. It's that 3/4 view, but right next to it, there's a picture of Ellie Scudds sitting there. And I'm like, all right, that's profile. Why do you want her there? That you can see exactly what the movement standards have laid out for you. It's interesting though, because when you go to the top, video submission standards say camera should capture 3/4 view of the athlete during all movements. And I guess that this would be a 3/4 view, but this is definitely not profile, which also by itself invalidates the video because he's sitting 3rd or 4th in the world at this point. And you can't verify any of these reps if you can't see them the way that you're supposed to be able to see them. Not only that, but you can't see the freaking rower.
Get off this row. Get off this row. Let's go. 1 minute, Bill. Come on. Come on. You got a minute, Bill.
And why not? One more time. You got the judge staring at the monitor, giving the go-ahead to go, exhausted as all hell, but probably still ending that thing early. And then this is how I gotta finish all this stuff.
Okay, we got.
I just made sure that at no point during that video do they go back to the rower to show the requisite distances. So number one, we can't see how far the guy rode. While the times kind of make sense and he's fit as hell and you make assumptions that the distances are correct, what are you just gonna do across the entire world assume that everybody did it because they sat on the rower for 3 minutes and 20, 3 minutes and 40 seconds? Yeah, sure, whatever. There's a section in this which I'm not all that familiar with and it's just titled penalties. So we're gonna go through this thing. General. Missing repetitions may result in an athlete's score being adjusted to the last correctly completed rep before the missed skipped rep. That's incredible! Can you believe it? I'm reading that for the first time. It's what I was saying about Danny Spiegel last year. They're laying it out as clear as day right there. If there's a repetition in like a ring muscle up, let's just say, and it clearly didn't count, none of the work you're gonna do in the future counts either. Well, guess what, dude? We can't see your rowing monitor one time. We know that none of those V sit-ups count at all. So in all reality, you did zero. Zero the whole time because you never got onto the GHD, and let's just say that they said you got on the GHD. We couldn't see the rower monitor reset, we couldn't see the thing that you got off of it with, and you're down on the floor right there, right? None of those V sit-ups counted. So if you just want to follow this part of penalties where it says missing repetitions may result in the athlete's score being adjusted to the last completed rep, well, you didn't do a V sit-up at all. Next, a significant number of no reps will result in a major penalty. I think that we without a doubt 100% have that nailed in. Next, if an athlete is assessed a no rep in any movement in the test and the total number of no reps falls below the threshold for a major penalty, the rep will be removed from the athlete's score. All right, so you're gonna remove 50 V sit-ups and I don't know, a dozen to 20 GHD sit-ups because you got off the rower too soon. In either world, that's gonna take a ding to the score. If that happens, I'm gonna be furious. You should be furious, and everyone completing the quarterfinals should be furious. Not touching the foot pads with both hands entering the GHD resulted in a penalty. All right, on the row, a false start is a penalty. Didn't false start, that's good. Missed skipped meters, 2 repetitions for every 10 meters per instance. We don't even know what he hit on the rower because they never showed the screen at the end of it. If the meters rowed are not clearly displayed after each row, the athlete will receive a 10 repetition penalty for each occurrence. All right, well, we can't see anything on the rowing monitor, so you got off the rower early, we can hear it, we can't see it, but now we know that you got off early due to the way that the judge was indicating you move forward. You get 50 no reps on the V sit-ups, and for every single row of the 5 of them, you get a 10 rep penalty. So you get 112 or 120 repetitions taken off of your score right off the top. It says also to avoid a penalty, it is highly recommended to film and review a short row with the intended completion set up to ensure the monitor is clearly visible, which they didn't do. They're not from Profile on the V sit-ups. They don't know whether or not you can see the rowing monitor. They're using the WOD-proof app, so that's a good thing. 0 score violation. The following will result in immediate 0 score. Not showing the meters rowed to the camera. 0. Filming the V sit-ups from the front or back. Must be filmed from 3/4 of profile. All right, so I guess we have that accomplished. It's 3/4. You can see it basically. It's not from the front or back, so check. It's not profile, but they also said 3/4. Not visually conforming the floor layout, they did do that. Not having a visible timer throughout, they did do that. Intentionally altering the rep scheme in order to movements, I kind of think that did happen. Intentionally got off the rower, blatantly disregarding a rule that's been around since the dawn of time. And a witch rate, it's like you guys rode like a 960 instead of 1,000, I don't know. Incorrect measurements. Well, I'll tell you what, bare minimum there, you know what I did? I laid out the fact that there's at least 100 reps, if not upwards of 112 to 120 repetitions that are going to be needed to be assessed to this score. I can see loopholes where they're not going to go 0, but just like Spiegel last year, it should be a 0. It should invalidate it so that everyone who sees this knows that you can't get away with this crap. It ruins your season. All right, let's move on to the leaderboard and see what this would do to him. He's currently sitting 4th in the world. He got 579 reps on this, and if you ding 100, it gives him all the way to 479. Here we go, a score of 473. I don't know who this is. His name is Aaron Engel. Aaron Engel, we're gonna use your score. 2,396th place in the world. So if we take Will's score and we add 2,906 places to it, he is going to go from 4th place all the way to 437th place in the world. He is part of North America West. That score in the West would give him a placing of 402nd. So he'd be sitting right around 58 or 59, 60 overall in the North America West. So his season wouldn't be over if they give him a penalty of 100 plus reps. You want to know what I think Cross is going to do? That. You know why I think that? Because I got scores on the leaderboard. They're good. And I haven't been asked for an email. I haven't had my scores invalidated. At some point, CrossFit has to prove to everybody who's paying their $50 entry fees that they're going to do something. Why on this green earth would you pay $50 when you can see that one of the best in the world is gonna get away with this kind of stuff? Everyone everywhere is doing everything they can to play by the rules, and this is gonna slide? Andrew, it doesn't make a big difference. Yes, it does. It makes a huge difference. Maybe if he had to keep his legs straight, his feet together the whole time in the V sit-ups, he gets, I don't know, 20 less reps on the freaking GHD sit-up on the back end because he had to slow down to do the movement standard on the V sit-up. Maybe if he kept his hands on the rower, he loses another 5 to 10 GHD sit-ups because he wasn't already sitting there by the time the rower rolled over. There's 30 repetitions, and you tell me why you would sit in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000th place in any region in the world, pay your $50 just to have them give you more workouts. Here's some more workouts. I'll give you workouts. $50. They're there anyway. It's not like there's a paywall for you to be able to see them. You're paying $50 to put your name on a leaderboard for no freaking reason. No reason. 0. I have a name on the leaderboard right now. Yep, I paid $50 for it. And it's just hanging. It's chilling. It's taking up somebody's spot. It's knocking you down a peg on the leaderboard. They're not gonna find it. It's altering your position the same way that stuff like this is altering everything on the leaderboard. CrossFit, if you don't do something about this, just like you didn't last year with Spiegel, we're gonna do something better without you. Invalidate this video. Andrew Hiller, out.